Welcome back to the Late Night Gamer and another playthrough. I recently have acquired a gaming taste in wargames, and among wargame companies, Multiman Publishing has certain standards, I would say, at least for me. It's one of the companies that are really signatory companies, if you like, for wargaming. So as you can see on this box cover, the Bastogne Screaming Eagles Under Siege is a game in the standard combat series of games that Multiman Publishing has. My understanding is that this series is a little bit more simpler than the other bigger series that Multiman is carrying. So it should be a good fit for the channel and for me. The game designer and the series designer is Dean Essig, and there are several games in this standard combat series. They are not related per se, other than they share the same formats or the same rule set. So let's just have a look inside the box and see what comes with the game. You can see the map already put on the table underneath the box, game box here. So let's open up and we see that there are counters and dice. I've just sorted them a little bit, American counters and German counters. There are some player aid sheets, one for each player. There is a rule book, or rather there are two rule books, one for the series rules, which are common for all the games in the series, and one for a specific set of rules for Bastogne. So the game comes with version 1.7 of the rules, of the series rules. I went online and printed out the version 1.8 from January 2014, just so that we can be up to date. The Bastogne specific rules is very short. It's only 6 pages of rules, and you can see it's not very densely written. Even some big pictures. The last few pages in the rulebook contains 3 scenarios. One introductory scenario, one a little bit longer, and the full game, or the main game, the Battle for Bastogne. I'm not going to talk too much about the rules, but these standard series rules are not very long either. 8 pages, but it's written a little bit more densely than the Bastogne specific rules. But it's very easy to read and easy to reference, so thumbs up for the rules. They are very good and easy to understand. Let's just have a quick look at the map. I'm hand-holding now at the moment, so please excuse any motion sicknesses. I'll be using a tripod in a minute, so I just want to show you the map. In the center is the city of Bastogne, and you can see the map is quite large. There are some yellow lines here depicting certain area of interests. This is the assembly area where the 101st will arrive during the main scenario. These yellow lines here are victory routes, which matter for victory condition purposes. And you can see there are scattered towns around the map with names, and there are wood hexes and open hexes. Roads, smaller trails. This letter indicates entry areas. This is entry area E. Well, this smaller scenario uses just small portions of the map. Can you see this? So there's a black line running here, which indicates the area that is used for the first introductory scenario. There's another one, the red one, which is a little bit bigger, but still just a quarter of the map, or not even that. In addition, of course, we have tracks here along the side, helping us keep things in order. So I was thinking, as we are trying to learn the standard combat series rule system, it's a good idea to start with the introductory scenario, the defense of Noville. It's only 2 turns, so it should be done fairly quick, and after that perhaps we can play the next scenario, which is a little bit a step up in, well, not complexity, but in number of units, and some rules get more space. That's only also a 3-turn scenario, so it's not very long. The full game is only 10 turns, so that's also something that is doable in an evening. So for the defense of Noville, we are going to play on the black area. So I have put some paper sheets here to limit the map. Scenario instructions are pretty straightforward. It is the battle for Noville. It's an introductory scenario, and the playbook or the rulebook says pretty clear that this is a non-historical scenario, so there are units here that were not present during that time. Well, it's only a 2-turn scenario. We start in turn 2 and we end in turn 3, and there is no limitations to artillery fire, which there normally would be. We would have certain amounts of ammunition. There's some special rules here, is that we will skip the US player's first turn and we start with the Germans. Then we just proceed right to the setup, where it tells us which marker should go in which hex. So right in the city of Noville we'll have a panzer unit, a panzer company from Team de Sobry. It's the B company from 3rd Battalion. Right behind them we have some armored reconnaissance people, but they are just a squad. Very, very easy, you can see the difference. You can see the perpendicular bar for the company and the 3 dots for the squad. On the road here there is an armored infantry company in 38-31. So you can see the numbers here indicating the hex. So this is 38-30, so this will be 38-31. Yeah, the 3 dots are of course a platoon, not a squad. So there's an armored platoon here, basically it's tanks, just north of Noville. Just north of Foy we are deploying some tank destroyers, a platoon of tank destroyers. And in Foy we'll have some engineers, a company of engineers. So in turn 2 the US player will be getting a battalion of the 506 Airborne A, B and C company. So these guys are coming on turn 2, I'll just put them here for now. The Allies have, just off the map, they will have 3 artilleries. So these guys are the artillery, and they have 2 stripes instead of 1 for company, so these are battalion. To counter that, the Germans has gotten these 3 artillery battalions, and they are also placed off the map on the German side. So this is something special for this scenario only, and it is so that we can experience how artillery works, not worrying too much about moving them around on the map. So the rule specifies that everything on the map is considered in range for the artillery. So this is all the setup we are going to do. The Germans don't set up on the map, rather they enter through the reinforcement phase. The Germans have 2 Kampfgruppen. I don't know how to pronounce that in German, but it's Koch, which is coming on later, in the next turn. And it's Kampfgruppe von Böhm, which are coming on right at the start of the game on the German turn. Victory conditions for the German player is if they can clear this yellow road by the end of the game and avoid any losses in Kampfgruppe Koch, or any panzer losses in Kampfgruppe Koch. Not the von Böhm Kampfgruppe, which comes on first, but the second one. If they can do that, they will win the game. If they clear the road but loses more than 1 step or 1 hit in Kampfgruppe Koch, it's a draw, and any other result is an Allied win. We are using almost all of the rules from the main campaign or the main scenario in this small scenario. But we will learn about movement, we will learn about attack and terrain, and we will learn about how combat is resolved, and also about artillery, or this barrage, perhaps. Yeah, and we'll see how different units behave. Stacking limits we will learn about, and that should ease us into the game. So I think we just can start going.